Moments ago, the president tweeted, if racist Elijah Cummings would focus more of his energy on helping the good people of his district and Baltimore itself, perhaps progress could be made in fixing the mess that he has helped to create over many years of incompetent leadership. His radical oversight is a joke. That baseless insult, just one of many that the president has hurled towards the Maryland congressman and the city of Baltimore. Thousands have stood up to defend Congressman Cummings' 23 years of service, including a slew of Democratic lawmakers. Their one common message: stop targeting lawmakers from diverse backgrounds.
Our job is to bring people together to improve life for all people, not to have a racist president who attacks people because they are African Americans. That is a disgrace, and that is why we're going to defeat this president.
The president is, as he usually is, or often is, disgusting and racist. He makes these charges with no base at all, and they are designed to distract attention from the very serious allegations about his conduct that came from the committee hearings this week.
Mr. President, your job is to unite this country. And when you take shots, as you did at Elijah Cummings and the city of Baltimore, when you take shots at my colleague, Rashida Tlaib, you're attacking the constituents of those districts. They take it very personally. Your job is to unite us, not to divide us. And I just think it's so unacceptable, and it's not what the President of the United States is supposed to do.
Meanwhile, President Trump's acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, sees it very differently. Listen.
The president is attacking Mr. Cummings for saying things that are not true about the border. I think it's right for the president to raise the issue of, look, I was in Congress for 6 years. If I had poverty in my district like they have in Baltimore, if I had crime in my district like they have in Chicago, if I had homelessness in my district like they have in San Francisco, and I spent all of my time in Washington, D.C. chasing down this Mueller investigation, this bizarre impeachment crusade, I'd get fired. And I think if the president is right to raise that, it has absolutely zero to do with race.
All right, joining me right now, White House reporter for Politico, Gabby Orr, and CNN political analyst and White House correspondent for American Urban Radio Networks, April Ryan. Good to see you both. All right, so April, you first. You know, you were born and raised in the city of Baltimore. You're living in Baltimore County now. You tweeted about this. This is very personal to you and so many, the president's attacks. And you said here, and I'm sorry, it's going way too fast for me able to read that. So can we go back so I can read your latest comments, April? Saying, dear real Donald Trump, believe it or not, you're supposed to be President of the United States to all Americans, even those in Baltimore, a city where your son-in-law, Jared Kushner, owns housing projects. Be better, Mr. President, or at least try Melania's approach, be best. That's right, we are Baltimore, be best. All right, so you've heard all the these assessments of what the president is doing here, that it's racist, that it's a distraction. Is it just that at a minimum, April?
So this is complicated, but yet it's not, Frederica. And you know, you live not far from Baltimore yourself.
Marylander.
Charging. Just a coffee.
Columbia, not far. So you understand the dynamic of that swath? Yes, well.
And then you will see.
You understand that swath, that area.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a part of the city. You have a part of the city that is poverty-stricken, but that's not all of the 7th District.
Right.
Here's what's happening.
And that is really the point, is it?
It's not the point. And I talked to someone who is very close to the inner circle. They said the president's very upset. That is why he's still tweeting, because the blowback is fierce against him. Number one, the president is upset because he went after Congressman Elijah Cummings, yet another African-American person that the president is making personal attacks on. Now he wants to deflect and flip it, saying Elijah Cummings is a racist. Now, I have a relationship with Elijah Cummings that spanned way before we both came to Washington. When he was an attorney and when he was in Maryland state government in Baltimore, way before both of us even thought about Washington. He was an attorney. His mother, now, this thing about this racist thing is so far from the truth. Elijah Cummings' mother used to take a young Elijah and his brothers and sisters to integrate the swimming pools in Baltimore. You know, he believes in inclusion. He represents a district of black, white, Jew, Gentile, Protestant, and Catholic. And he's got people from all walks of life who respect him. I hear it from those in the Jewish community, in the white community, in the black community. And now what's happening is that this conservative hate machine is putting out black people to say that Elijah should be doing this and doing that. Yes, Baltimore is hurting, but it's not just about Elijah Cummings. It's not just about the mayor. It's not just about the governor. It's about the president of the United States. And again, Mr. President, where are you? What about urban renewal? It's not about these empowerment zones or whatever these zones that you're calling. It's about fixing the problem, not laughing at it. You're the president of black people too, people who are hurting, and you're turning a blind eye. And I'm sorry if this is getting personal. I grew up in that area. I know those people, just like Victor, just like so many people. Jada Pinkett Smith is from Baltimore. There's so many scientists, politicians, entertainers, educators, people from all walks of life, black, white, Jew, Gentile, Protestant, and Catholic, who called Baltimore home at one time or another. And it's unfortunate that an American city is hurting, and this man who is sitting in the prime spot to do something is turning a blind eye and laughing. So I say this. I talked to Elijah Cummings this morning. We texted each other. He was in church praising God and moving forward because he's not going to stop. I just said, be strong, because I said that to him because I have been the butt of some of the president's ire. It's not right. He makes it personal when it comes to black politicians or black people.
Yeah, and Gabby, people are at a loss of words trying to figure out what in the world. I mean, what's the motivation of the president to do this if not to just simply divide? Why is it, and not that you have to explain the president's, actions here, but why is it, the president would feel like this is political capital? Because if it's not political capital, then what is the other motivation for a president of the United States to carry on in this matter, to use these words, to denigrate, insult, to provoke this kind of moment in America?
When you talk to his campaign, they say that this is all part of a coherent strategy, that President Trump is building a campaign based on division, that he is putting racial animus at the center of his 2020 campaign, and that he thinks that winning over white working class voters and people who fear major cultural change in America will gravitate towards him the more that he perpetuates these things, the more that he tweets these provocative things, the more that he targets African-American lawmakers. Now, of course, whether or not that works remains to be seen. There are many people inside his own presidential campaign who are very skeptical of this strategy and think that ultimately it's actually going to end up driving voters away from him in the states like Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, that he will need to win in order to sail the re-election. There are others, though, who think that this does fit into his message. That
Maya, papi's calling to you.
Changes in America. And though it's unfortunate and risky for a politician like President Trump to sort of dabble in racially incendiary
Take the charger,
comments,
Maya.
that it might work to their advantage.
Okay, so risky, possibly, April, but at the same time, would it not still be in step with how he began his campaign in 2016 anyway? I mean, you can't forget the jargon used then with, Mexicans are all rapists. And I mean, isn't this the same thing? And so does this simply underscore that the president does feel that this is a winning approach to re-election?
Okay.
Well, not only does he believe